Hi, I am Clancy Peiris, the Study Support and Learning Manager at CIMA. This short presentation is aimed at providing our certificate level students with vital information which will help them to prepare for CIMA's certificate level computer-based assessments. Therefore, this presentation will focus on the assessment strategy and the different types of questions in the certificate level assessments, and also the on-screen calculator and on-screen mathematical tables that you will be using during the assessments. Let's start by looking at the assessment strategy for the certificate level papers. There will be three types of objective test questions, and I will show you examples later in this presentation. Firstly, you will be asked to select the single best response. These are also known as multiple choice questions. Secondly, you will be asked to select multiple best responses. The question will normally tell you how many responses you need to select. The third and the final question type is fill the blank data entry questions. Your assessment will begin with a short tutorial lasting 15 minutes which you must complete before you can start your computer-based assessment. During the tutorial, you will see examples of the three types of questions I have described. You will also be able to practice submitting answers to different types of questions you might encounter in the assessment, as well as familiarizing yourself with the test navigation. I will explain more about this later in this presentation. Practice questions for all certificate level subjects are available on the CIMA website. For paper CO1 and CO2, there will be 50 questions in the exam, and for paper CO3, there will be 45 questions. For papers CO4 and CO5, there will be 75 questions. The duration for each exam is 2 hours in addition to the compulsory 15-minute tutorial. Let's look at examples of the three different types of objective test questions you will get in the CIMA assessments. Here in this question, you need to select the one correct answer. Here you need to select multiple answers. The question advises you that 3 responses are required. In the exam, questions will usually advise how many responses to select, but some questions may require you to select all responses that apply. This is an example of a data entry questions where you must put in your own answer. The question tells you how many decimal places are required. Make sure you follow any guidance on the format of your answer. For number entry questions, you do not need to include currency symbols or other characters or symbols such as percentage sign, as these will have been completed for you automatically. You may use the decimal point, but as we saw above, you should not use any other characters when entering your answer. For instance, if you want to input pounds 10,500 and pence 80, you should input it as 10500 decimal point 80 as shown in the example. When expressing a decimal, for example, a probability or a correlation coefficient, you should include the leading 0. That is, you should input 0, decimal point and 5, not just decimal point and 5. Negative numbers should be input using the minus sign. A small range of answers will normally be accepted, taking into account sensible rounding. If you try to enter a character or symbol that is not permitted, you will receive an error message. For example, if you input a pound sign or percentage sign, the error message shown on this slide will appear. For some questions in the CO3 exam, you will be required to enter formula. There are no restrictions on the characters you can enter in these types of questions, so you need to be very careful when typing your response. Instructions on how to enter the formula will normally be included in the question. For example, use the star symbol for multiplication, or do not use brackets in your answer. Remember, you should not include any spaces when you input the formula. The questions will normally give guidance on the number of decimal places or significant figures that you should give in your answer. Where no guidance is provided, give your answer to the nearest whole number. You will receive an error message if you don't stick to the guidance provided in the question. For example, if you input an answer with 2 decimal places, when a whole number is required, you will receive an error message. You are advised not to round until you have completed your calculations. In other words, you only need to round the final figure that you intend to key in as your answer. You are not permitted to use your own calculator or any physical calculator during the assessment. An on-screen calculator is provided as part of the certificate level computer-based assessment software. This calculator will be available for the entire duration of the assessment. The on-screen calculator is available in each of the 5 certificate level assessments. To access it, you need to click the calculator button in the top left-hand corner of the screen. You can bring up the calculator at any time during the assessment. You will be able to practice accessing and using the calculator during the 15-minute tutorial which all candidates must complete before the assessment begins. During this tutorial, you will be able to familiarize yourself with the calculator's functionality and practice using it in advance of the assessment. Please read the article in our website titled Calculator Guidance for Certificate Level Computer-Based Assessment Candidates. The web link is shown in this slide for this article, and it will give you detailed information about the on-screen calculator. There are 2 versions of the on-screen calculator available. The default is a standard scientific calculator. However, by clicking Modes in the calculator window, you can toggle between the scientific calculator shown on this slide and a simple 4-function calculator which we will see on the next slide. You can input numbers using either your computer mouse or the number pad on your computer keyboard. Here you see the simple 4-function on-screen calculator. You can change it into the on-screen scientific calculator by clicking Modes in the calculator window. The window containing the calculator can be dragged around the screen and placed where it is convenient. It can also be closed when no longer needed. The numbers you have already keyed in will remain intact when you minimize the calculator window or drag it across the computer screen. If you need to access the mathematical tables or formula provided for the CO1 or CO3 assessments, the calculator may be hidden but will reappear once those windows are closed and any data input would remain. The calculator will automatically close when you press Next to move on to the next question. You may practice using the on-screen calculator by downloading and installing the practice exam and the web link shown in this slide. The calculator can be accessed from the 4th sample question. Mathematical tables and formula are provided on screen for reference during the CO1 and CO3 assessments. You may access these on screen at any time during the test by clicking the button at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. You can access the mathematical tables at any time during the assessment by clicking the Tables and Formula tab on the bottom left-hand corner of the computer screen. You will be shown how to access this information during the 15-minute tutorial. The size of the tables and the formula can be adjusted, minimized, and moved across the screen to suit you. If you need to access the on-screen calculator, the mathematical tables and formula may be hidden but will reappear once the on-screen calculator window is closed or minimized. The mathematical tables and formula will automatically close when you press the Next button to move on to the next question. You can easily navigate between the questions by pressing the Previous or Next buttons on the bottom edge of the screen. The Next button will move you from the present question to the next question. The Previous button will move you from the present question to the question that you attempted previously. The Previous and Next buttons can be selected by using the computer mouse to move the cursor or the combination of keys on your computer keyboard. For example, to move on to the next question, you would press the N key while holding down the Alt key. You will have the opportunity to practice this in the 15-minute tutorial. As you navigate through the assessment, you can use the really useful progress indicator in the upper right-hand corner of the screen to pace yourself. The progress indicator includes the current question number and the total number of questions in the assessment. It will also show you how much time you have left to complete the assessment. During the course of the assessment, you can flag questions that you wish to return to later. If you flag a question, a flag will appear next to the question on the review screen at the end of your assessment. You must review questions you have flagged during the time allowed for your assessment. No extra time will be given for reviewing your answers. You can select questions for review whether you have answered them or not. On the next slide, we will see that you will also have the opportunity to review any questions for which you have not submitted answers. The review screen is automatically displayed at the end of the assessment. However, this review screen can also be accessed at any time during the assessment by selecting the Navigator button in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. This means that you don't have to wait until the end of the assessment to access the review screen. Unfortunately, I am unable to show you a screenshot of this as it only appears in the live assessment. The button in the lower right hand of the screen will offer you three choices. First, review all your questions and answers. Secondly, review questions that are incomplete. For example, questions you have not attempted or partly answered. Thirdly, review questions that are flagged for review. Alternatively, you may click on a question number if you wish to go directly to that question in the assessment. Select the End Review button in the review screen to exit the review section. You will receive 3 messages to confirm that you are ready to end your review and exit the test. Please note that you should only click End Review when you wish to exit the assessment. Once you end the review, you cannot go back and review or change any of your answers to the questions. Therefore, you should only click the End Review when you are sure that you have submitted all your responses. When all sections of your assessment have been completed, click the End Exam button to end the assessment. This completes the assessment process. Shortly after you complete your assessment, a printed results report will be generated. This will be given to you by the test center administrator before you leave the test center. The results report will state the marks you have scored and provide a summary of your performance by syllabus topic. I hope that this short presentation has helped you to understand the nature of the assessment for the CIMA certificate level and will enhance your confidence when you come to take the certificate level exams. Finally, I would like to wish you all the very best for your certificate level exams. Thank you.